public about use of the beaches and the sea. So as a consequence of the stormy conditions, we can now say that the level of risk associated with the untreated sewage going through the long outfall is low. It's unsafe to go on the beach or unsafe to go for a swim. What we are saying is that obviously we're going to carry on the monitoring. We'll continue to make the monitoring information available on a daily basis, but that for people thinking about whether they're going to go to the beach or not on any day, do just check the conditions. Is it windy? Is there an elevated sea state or rough sea conditions? All of those things will increase the risk. So people will have the information they need to make a decision, but at this point we are withdrawing the advice that says stay away from the beach and stay away from the sea. I'll ask Charles Baker from Wellington Water, who's really been leading up the response and coordinating all the agencies involved in this, to make his comments.
Thank you, Andrew. It really has been an interagency effort to get to this point. From day one they've been meeting and assessing the sampling and determining when this criteria would be met. It's really heartening that over the weekend they had enough data through all the different types of wind conditions and weather conditions for us to provide the advice that it is now safe to return to normal settings on Lawa. I would stress and reiterate what the Mayor said, that Lawa is the place that everyone should go to get an accurate assessment of whether it's safe to swim the beach on any given day.
And that should just say that address is lawa.org.nz, so that's the place people should go. If they want more detailed information about the monitoring, go on the Wellington Water website, and they're doing the updating information on the detailed monitoring results.
The level's been quite low for
yes.
The level's been quite low for quite some time. Why is it taking this long to find?
Every day the sampling has been taken. It's really important that they build up a pattern to make an assessment. No one would expect us to make a decision like this lightly or based on one data point. They've kept it to the minimum. They now have all the information they need, that in most circumstances that Lawa would be able to accurately predict whether the beach is safe or not.
And the monitoring results are 2 days behind, so it was going to take a bit of time to build up that pattern of information, that pattern of data. We then had the storm come through. We needed to know what impact that was going to have on the readings, and we have proceeded with a degree of caution, as you'd expect, but we're now at a point where we can, with some confidence, say that the advice to stay away from the beach and the sea is no longer justified.
So, can you give us a bit more reaction to this? What response from Wellington and businesses along the south coast?
Yeah, I think, look, this is a well-used beach and coastline along here. Wellingtonians love it. They make an effort to come here, so they'll be able to resume, what they want to do. And it is still summer, and there are still some summer days left, according to the forecast. So we do want people to be able to use it. For the businesses who are dependent on people coming here and the footfall that goes with that, obviously, hopefully it'll be good news to them. They can see out the rest of the summer and the autumn, knowing that people can go back to their ordinary habits.
So on a day like this, you've been prepared to go for a swim here?
Yes.
Are you going to?
Yes. On the condition I'm asked, I think I've been asked, I have become equipped to go for a swim, so if that's what you're asking, I will.
So can you spell it out for people, like if I take my dog on a walk here, that's safe, if people want to go for a boat ride, they can do that?
Yeah, we're saying certainly using the beach and the sea, inshore sea is safe to do so. That's what the monitoring results are showing us. But if you do want to go to the beach, do check the Lawa website, check Wellington Water if you want to. But on the basis of the information we know, the monitoring results, it is safe to come to the beach, safe to walk your dog, safe to swim. If you want to surf a little further out to the ocean, we're not giving any assurance about that. You'll need to take that under your own advisement. Likewise, deep water diving, you're going to have to rely on the experts on that. The information we've got hasn't tested the deeper parts of offshore and the Cook Strait, but the inshore areas, apart from Talakina Bay, are safe to use on the basis of current information. Look, I'll let Charles been up to date with the public health advice on that.
Yeah, it's really important that we just keep following the MPI's advice. That remains extant, that we should always be cautious about gathering kaimoana in urban areas and beaches where there is outfalls or discharges. That remains extant. That is the best place to get advice on whether it's safe to gather kaimoana. But if you take all those things into consideration, then the seafood is safe to eat.
Sorry, Charles, can we get a bit of an update on...
If you want to get a shot of the poster going up now, by the way, that's it over there.
Can we get a bit of a latest update on what's happening at Moa Point, the plant itself?
Things are proceeding at pace at Moa Point. One of the key things that some people may have noticed is we lift in a new venting pipe for the outfall. The engineers are confident that that will increase the capacity of the outfall. That's really important. Continuing this week is the specialists are making the damage assessment, and when we get those reports, we will then be able to come up with the plan on the way forward.
When do you expect to get those reports?
It's complicated business to do it, so we're expecting them to finish their assessment over the next couple of days, but it's realistic to expect a couple of weeks before we'd have the reports.
How is the clean-up of the plant completely finished now?
There are a few little pockets of the plant which are still being cleaned, but by and large, yes, it has.
And how much has the flow increased at the plant, compared to what it was given the changes in ventilation? What is that about?
The normal daily flow is at 810 litres per second. There's ample room in the outfall to accommodate that. What we're really talking about is when there's a wet weather event, making sure we can handle that larger inflow.
Andrew, have you had any update on when an inquiry might start into this situation?
Not at the stage. Look, we're in touch with the Minister's office. I know that he and his officials are working hard at putting together terms of reference and people to do the work. So we're hoping for an announcement, sooner rather than later, but it is in the Minister's hands.
Is that weeks or?
I would expect weeks, and hopefully not many weeks. I know a bit of effort is required to pull these things together, but the assurance we had was that it would be quicker to pull together a Crown review than a ministerial inquiry under the Inquiries Act. I'm confident the Minister understands the need for urgency. I'm confident that they're putting every effort into pulling that together.
Have you asked the Minister to sort of get a move on?
Not so much get a move on. We've asked for an update, and we're told that the wheels are well in motion, and we should expect to hear something reasonably soon.
When did you ask for that update?
In the last couple of days.
Charles, sorry, I was going to ask the same question, but please be sitting a little bit close to the mic. I think
Yep.
very effective to see about this. Can you just give us an update on when the Moa Point plant facility might be up and running? Do you have any ideas of time frames?
It's a little bit too early to speculate on exact timeframes. What I can tell you is that the assessment is being conducted at the moment of the plant by our specialists that were brought in from overseas and across New Zealand. That will give us a really good understanding. We wouldn't really expect their report back for at least another couple of weeks, but I can give assurance that a lot is happening up at the plant, and we're working at pace to get it back as fast as possible.
Do you expect there to be some sort of public consultation around what it might look like to get this plant up and running again?
We'll obviously consult with our owner, Wellington City Council, but other than that, I wouldn't speculate.
Andrew?
No, we're dependent on advice from Wellington Water and others, and I'm just not going to, as Charles says, not going to speculate.
Does the rahui remain in place?
Look, we've been in touch with iwi and mana whenua representatives. The advice I've received this morning is that they've lifted the rahui on these beaches. It remains around Tarakina Bay. And also, they sort of at pains to point out to me that rahui is about the health of the sea, the health of the moana, and the mauri of the moana. It's not about the public health requirements about whether or not you can swim on the beach. But we've kept in contact with them. They're comfortable with what we're doing, but they need to do what they have to do to provide that spiritual protection for the ocean.
And if the weather changes tomorrow, like Wellington sometimes does on a good day, are we still looking towards that short outfall on short notice?
At the moment, there is still a risk that during a wet weather event that the short outfall will be needed. But everyone can be assured that we're in direct communication with Greater Wellington Regional Council, and all that information will be reflected on the LAWA website. Again, LAWA remains the best place to go to get an assessment over whether it's safe to be on the beach.
Do those increased flows at the long outfall pipe mean that it's unless there's some really exceptional weather events, it's unlikely that the short outfall pipe will be used.
The capacity of the long outfall at the moment is more than sufficient to deal with day-to-day flows that come to the plant. Last weekend we had an event which was more than that capacity, but since then we've been installing the vent, which should increase the capacity, so we're getting more and more confident that we will be able to deal with all but the most unusual wet weather events through the long outfall.
Andrew, can I ask our Wellington Mayor, just what is your reaction to the government's move on orders? What do you think it will do for Wellington City?
Look, Wellington City is already doing a fair amount in terms of dealing with rough sleepers in the CBD and in some of the suburbs. We've got a good city safety team dealing with that. I met with the police last week. They were adamant to me that that they know that to be effective, the underlying needs of those people need to be met, and that's the challenge that we've got. So look, I'm not sure they fix a problem, they just kick the problem down the road. The real answer to that is making sure that the right social supports are in place for people who don't have a roof over their heads.
So you don't see the move on orders helping the city at all?
I don't see them helping at all. The only thing that is going to help is if we have the right supports in place for the people who need it. Moving them on their place of where they put their head down isn't going to change that. Look, the police work with our team. They definitely respond to the criminal behaviour, the criminal conduct. If they get the power to sort of tell people to move somewhere else, that'll fix the social issue in one location, but it doesn't fix the underlying problem. And I think we all understand that actually, if we're going to really fix the problem, we have to fix the underlying issues, not just the surface issues.
Charles, those reports that are coming in from external parties, will they give a cost of the fix-it job for the plant?
They'll give information which will help us determine that. Part of that will be primarily driven by what order we bring the plant back and what assets have been damaged. So they will help us form that picture.
So they'll help you understand at what level you want to return the plant to?
They'll give us an understanding of the state of all the systems and what needs to be repaired in order to bring the plant back to function.
All right. I know you're looking at me. Right. You need to get your pixelators ready, all right? So.
How's the main event, everyone? Up at the blue skies.
Might have to hold on to those.
Steve, do you want me to take a step here?
Yeah, all right. Thank you.
Thanks, mate.
Let's go. Yeah. We're going to do a run in or what are we gonna do?
I'll put you down. You done it?
Which is just what you want from a Wellington South Coast sea.
Are you excited that Wellingtonians will soon be able to do the same thing?
Yeah, hopefully. Look, it is safe to swim and we want people to come back. Keep a check on the weather conditions, keep a check on sea states and things like that. But otherwise, on days like today, it is safe to swim on the Wellington South Coast.
Feel clean?
Yeah, cleansed, I think, as I describe it. It's always the great thing about swimming here. It's a good temperature, it's refreshing and it's bracing. Don't like my sea to be, tepid or anything. I need it to be cold. So.
Can you be back tomorrow?
Looking at my diary, probably not, but almost certainly on Saturday.
Bit of a smell around. That doesn't concern you?
No, we know there's odour coming off the plant, and that's because the wind is coming this way, it's blowing this way, but it's not coming from anything in the sea or on the long outfall. The only other smell you can smell at this time is rotting seaweed. You get a bit of that too, but otherwise the sea is good to swim in.
You didn't smell any water?
No, but I did put my head under several times. Good, alright everybody.